Reimagining Success, Episode 31. You're listening to Reimagining Success, the podcast where we help you reimagine your future, designing a life and career beyond the 9 to 5 that allows you the freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment that you've been dreaming of. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg. Now, let's get started on those dreams. Hello there and welcome back as we wrap up our content series on running a business with a baby or with young children. So these past few weeks, just to recap, or in case you've just discovered this podcast and you haven't been following along, we've been looking at why running your own business gives you the flexibility and freedom that you really want to plan around having young children, how to set up your business in practical terms in the right way so that it actually gives you that flexibility you want, how to prepare for maternity or paternity, of course, leave, and most recently last week, we looked at how to actually manage your business once you're ready to get back to work after that leave. Now, to wrap it all up this week, I thought it'd be fun to consider the advantages that having a baby will give you when it comes to running your business. So the things that being a parent, I guess, teach you that really make you a better entrepreneur. So here are 5 things that you'll learn when you have a baby that will make you much more effective in your business. And of course, these are only 5 things that I've come up with here. There are so many more. And I'd love to hear from you. In fact, if you think of other things, if you have children and you can think of lessons learned, skills, or whatever it might be, strengths that you've honed in thanks to being a parent. So I'd love to hear from you. You can always email me at podcast@onestepoutside.com. So these are the 5 things that I thought of today as I was preparing this episode. Now, first of all, and you may know that my brand is called One Step Outside. It's based on the quote, everything you've ever wanted is one step outside your comfort zone. So I am a big fan, it must be said, of getting out of your comfort zone. And in this case, I think it particularly applies because by the time you're in your 30s or so, let's say, in your career, you're most likely quite well established, you're respected by your peers, you're operating within a pretty comfortable space where you know what you're doing, you're not taking too many risks and so on. But the problem with that is that you're not actually really learning anything new, as you're really sticking with what's familiar. You're missing out on all sorts of learning and growth opportunities, and I'm definitely a big fan of lifelong learning, so it's a shame to miss out on those opportunities. Now, coming back to having a baby, having young children, stepping into your new role as a parent, you are suddenly going to be thrust into completely unfamiliar territory, very uncomfortable, and you'll be learning new things every day. So in business, you also need to be getting out of that familiar comfort zone on a daily basis. You need to keep learning new things and developing both yourself and your business. Continuously trying new things and challenging yourself is going to really help you to stay relevant in a fast-moving industry and will make sure that you stay ahead of your competition rather than resting on your laurels and just doing what you know and what you've always done. So yes, it can be scary to get out of that comfort zone, but as I always say, scary tends to come along for the ride with exciting, and it's also incredibly rewarding. So number one that you'll get used to doing as a parent is getting out of your comfort zone, and clearly that's really going to help you in your business as well. So number 1, getting out of your comfort zone. Number 2, letting go of trying to be perfect. I know a lot of you will probably self-identify as something like a perfectionist, an alpha, an achiever type, insecure, overachiever. I think it was my former colleague was just telling me that in the company where I used to work before, that was sort of the typical employee that they like to hire, someone who's going to work really, really hard and push themselves to a high standard. So constantly pushing yourself, putting pressure on yourself to do everything just right and getting frustrated when you don't do as well as you'd expected. Well, get ready to let go of all of that as you embrace parenthood and discover that perfection is an impossible and probably even undesirable goal. Trying to be the perfect parent, especially when you're trying to be the perfect business owner at the same time, is only going to lead to stress, burnout, and let's face it, misery. Now, let's be clear, this is not about lowering your standards, doing shoddy work, giving up all your ambitions. either as a parent, by the way, or as an entrepreneur. But it's about recognizing what really matters, focusing on doing your best when it comes to those things that really are important and that truly will make a difference, and then being satisfied when something is good enough. Now, of course, it's up to you what good enough means, but I can guarantee you that in your business, the incremental gain that your attempt at perfectionism, because, none of us can actually be perfect, no offense. So the incremental gain that you will get is not going to give you that much of a positive impact on your business, but likely, conversely, is going to have a massive negative impact on your well-being, your sanity, your relationships with your family, and so on. So my advice to you is do what needs to be done, do it well, and then move on to the next thing, or take a break. So number 2, let go of being perfect. Now, number 3 is being ruthless with your priorities. So speaking of focusing on what really matters in your life, and of course, we're always talking about defining success and what your priorities are, what's really important to you, what your why is. As a perfectionist, and to be honest, as a human being who's working in some job in modern society these days, you almost certainly have an endless list of to-dos. And no matter how many tasks you tick off, there'll always be more to be done. Now, once you're juggling your business with a young family, you'll have even less time in which to complete your mammoth list. And more to the point, it won't seem nearly as important anymore as you have other much more important things, or rather than things, people in your life. So when saying yes to something that's actually quite trivial means saying no to time with your baby and partner, for example, you become very, very good at making those choices up front. So when it comes to your business, you'll need to get super clear on what is actually going to make a difference and then let go of the rest. So as we talked about last week, this means saying no to clients, prospects, even personal requests that don't match with those priorities. So identifying the 2 or 3 things that will create real movement in your business and being disciplined with focusing your very, very limited time and energy on those few things will actually bring you better results as you learn to live by that cliche, working smarter, not harder. Cliches are cliches for a reason. It's absolutely true that you don't need to be working longer hours, but actually doing better, more productive, efficient work in the hours that you are working. So be ruthless with your priorities, and that's something that definitely has to come with being a parent, and again, will really stand you in good stead as an entrepreneur. Number 4, trusting your intuition. Now, in a corporate job, you have a boss, a team, a whole company to refer to when you're making an important decision. There are senior directors who have decades of experience and plenty of well-established processes and systems that you may find annoying, but that are also very helpful in telling you exactly what to do next. As a parent, however, while there are plenty of books to read and experts to consult and so on, no one can really tell you exactly what to do. There's no roadmap, and it's really down to your understanding of your child, your own preferences, you, yourself, and your family as to how you decide to move forwards. And in business too, while there are experts and coaches you can consult and work with, and I think they give a lot of value, ultimately it still is your business and you need to make that final call. So that actually means trusting your intuition about what your priorities should be, what are the right action steps that will get you there, and so on. And this is a skill that will be honed with time and experience, but having had to really trust yourself when it comes to your baby's survival and well-being will, again, definitely stand you in good stead for your business decisions. So I think trusting your intuition, your gut, is something that's a bit counter to what we've learned in Western society and school. I think we're a bit more rational and we have the pros and cons and information and knowledge and research and so on. But again, as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, your intuition is hugely valuable in terms of making decisions. So that's another lesson that you learn as a parent that will apply in your business as well. And finally, number 5, being flexible. So I'm always talking about the freedom and flexibility that we all desire in our work and our personal life. Well, this is your chance to really embody that flexibility. A baby, to be honest, as you can imagine, is never going to stick to the schedule you set. There are always going to be ups and downs, and you really have to expect the unexpected. So if you try to control every aspect of your life and your baby's life and your partner's life, you'll end up miserable and frustrated. Instead, you'll need to learn to go with the flow, taking each day as it comes and being open to shifting your plans. So likewise in business, however much you plan, you just can't control what the market or your potential clients or the world as a whole is actually going to do, how things will evolve. So having a vision, and I'm a massive fan of vision and strategy, putting in place that strategy, having the discipline to really take consistent action each and every day and week and so on, will definitely set you up for success. However, the reality is that you will need to adapt to what you see actually happening in order to stay relevant and effective. And again, having learned that as a parent to be super flexible and expect the unexpected, that's something that I really think will help you in your business as well. That you let go a little bit, again, of that perfectionism of controlling everything, and you operate effectively, productively, even within that uncertainty and risk and so on. So there you have it, 5 things that you'll learn as a parent that you can apply to your business. Just to recap again, number 1, getting out of your comfort zone. I'm a massive fan of that, and it's something you'll definitely have to do as a parent and as an entrepreneur. Letting go of trying to be perfect and knowing when something is good enough, still putting your heart and soul into things, but not going ridiculously overboard in terms of refining those final little percentage points and not really getting anywhere in the business or in your life. Number 3, being ruthless with your priorities. Again, you need to get super clear on what really matters. That will become starkly clear to you as a parent. And again, that really is incredibly valuable in your business as well. You'll actually do much better. I think you'll be much more productive and efficient in fewer hours now than you were with more hours before. I'm sure you've had that experience when you've got a full day stretching out ahead of you. I certainly have, with no appointments, no real deadlines and so on. It's so easy to fill that time. On the other hand, if you know you've got 1 hour to write the blog post or 3 hours to work on a particular project, whatever it is, boom, 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 you know that you'll do it, bash it out, and you'll be much more productive in those few hours. And I'm sure I've mentioned before, I think some statistic says that we only actually do 2 or 3 hours of productive work per day anyway. So if you now only have 2 or 3 hours, you're no different to that person who ostensibly, on paper at least, is working full time. So number 3, being ruthless with your priorities. Number 4, trusting your intuition rather than trying to find the right answer somewhere else. Listening necessarily to other experts. Of course, it's important to learn, to ask, to I was going to say replicate, but it's not about replicating, but rather sort of learning, understanding and applying where it makes sense. But ultimately it is your business, it is your family as well, and you're making the decisions. So you need to trust your gut, trust your intuition as to what's right. And I think that will really take you in the right direction. And then finally, being flexible, expect the unexpected, expect chaos, ups and downs, and go with the flow, as hard as that is, certainly for me as well. So again, there you have it, the 5 things that I've come up with that you'll learn as a parent that will really make you a better entrepreneur. Of course, it can be difficult as well. So we're not just putting on those rose-tinted glasses, but I thought it'd be interesting to look at the positive effects that becoming a parent will have on your business. And of course, there are many, many more. So again, I'd love to hear from you if you've had children and you think you've learned other lessons that will make you a better entrepreneur, if you maybe just objectively can think of other things that you think will really apply. And of course, this is not to say that people without children are not good entrepreneurs. This is just, some things that, again, as a parent, you may additionally learn, and I'm sure you could learn in other ways as well. So hopefully that's interesting to you. And again, this wraps up our content series on having a business with a baby. So if you have missed the last few episodes, do go back and listen to the last 4 or 5 episodes. We looked at why running your own business, again, is ideal to give you that flexibility, freedom and fulfillment to plan around a young family, how you can go about setting that business up in the right way, how to prepare for maternity leave, and then how to manage your business once you're ready to get back to work as well. And finally, this week, as you've just been listening to, hopefully, the 5 lessons that having a baby will teach you that you can apply to your business. So next week we'll be shifting gears a little bit, so do tune in then and find out what we'll be focusing on in the next few weeks. I hope it'll be interesting for you. I think it will, because it's something that a lot of you have been asking for. So thanks so much for following along. I hope you've enjoyed this series on running a business with a baby. and wish you the best of luck if that's something that you would like to do. Of course, if you're looking to set up a business that works around your family, if you're struggling a little bit with getting the right balance, of course, it's a never-ending process to get that balance between work and family, constantly evolving and so on, then I'd love to chat with you. You can get in touch to book a consultation with me, and we can have a chat about where you are right now, what shifts you can make, and how I can support you in creating better results, as well as more time for your family. So you can do that at onestepoutside.com/free consultation. So thank you so much for listening. I look forward to hearing from you potentially, whether you email me to let me know other lessons you've learned or you want to get in touch to book that call. So again, podcast@onestepoutside.com for any feedback or questions or comments. And you can book that consultation call at onestepoutside.com/free consultation. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Reimagining Success with Anna Lundberg. I'm sure you know someone, a friend, a colleague, who could also benefit from this podcast. I'd love for you to share the podcast or maybe your favorite episode with them so that they can listen too. Thank you so much for your support.